So, this is the video to announce the release of Hex++, the compiler for it. Hex++ is a compiler for high-level language to compile, high-level code down into hex casting's patterns. Hex casting is a mod for Minecraft. This here is the GitHub page for it, which will be linked down in the description. It's open source, so if you want to look at any of the code or make your own fork of it or anything, that is there. Um, this video will also go over how to download and use it. And to begin with, if you just want to use the compiler, all you need to do is download the exe right here. So you can just do that by just clicking on it and then clicking download raw file. And if all you want to do is use the compiler, that's all you need. However, I highly suggest that you use it with Hexagon, which is a separate application, which is available through this link here. If you want to use it, you will need to also download the config file from this GitHub. So this is not from Hexagon. This is from Hex++. Then on Hexagon, all you need to do is just go over here and click this. It'll download a zip. You'll need to unzip that, and inside the zip will be an exe. So I've already done all of that, and I've taken those and put them into this folder here. So you should just have a folder that looks like this. Any folder is good. It doesn't need to be dedicated to this if you don't want. I do suggest you do that just to keep it organized. So now all we'll want to do is we will start with creating a program. So I'm just going to call it my program. The extension I've been using is HXPP, but that's not necessary. You can use literally anything you want, as long as you can edit it like a text file. So what I've been using for text file editing is just VS Code, because it works well for coding like this, but you can use pretty much whatever kind of text editing you want. You could even just use Notepad if you really want. And so if we go here, I can show you something else that is in like GitHub that will be useful, and that is the docs. So these explain how the high-level programming language works. I'm not going to be going over that in this video. If you want to learn that, then you should go through these. Starting with overview is probably a good spot. But I will be using a few examples. Now, for starters, we're just going to use this basic block mining spell. So if I paste that in here, you can see that we get a variable that is the block we're looking at. We make sure that that block is actually a thing that exists, make sure that the raycast didn't fail, and if it didn't, we mine it. So now I will show how you compile your program. You go here, you right click in the folder that your exe and program are in, and you click open in terminal, and you should get something that looks like this appearing. Now all you need to do is on the command line type /hex++ compiler. The capitals are important, and then space followed by the name of your program file. This is assuming that the program file is in the same folder as the executable for the compiler. They can be in different ones, in which case you'll need to specify the path here. And then finally, you'll need to tell it a file that you want to output it to. And by default, this will be in the same folder as well. So this does not need to be a file that already exists, as you can see. Also, .hex pattern is what I am using, partially because I have a VS Code extension that will do syntax highlighting for it, but that is not needed. So now, if I run this, you'll see a couple things will happen. One, it will generate this file under the name that we gave it, and this here are the patterns that are needed to run the program that we specified here. So you can see here, it gets the block we're looking at, and then here, it checks to see if it is null, and if it isn't, then it breaks the block. So what we can do, since we have hexagon, is it also output this give command. And to copy from the terminal, you can't use Control C. You need to right click instead. So just highlight it and right click. And now that we have this give command, we can go into Minecraft and use it. Now, normally your programs are going to be too long to just simply paste into chat. As you can see, it got cut off. However, command blocks can hold much longer commands, so you can paste it into there and activate it, and you see it will get a focus with the command, or well, with the spell that was output by the compiler. So if I put this in my offhand, since we are using the block breaking spell, you can see that it will break the block that I'm looking at whenever I use it. Alright, now let's try a different spell. So if I go back to the examples, I'm just going to go down here and copy this one. And what this spell does is it fills in a hole with water, basically. So if I go into here and I replace this code with the new code, then I can go back here, and if you press up, it'll re-enter the last command you gave it, so I can use that to recompile it. And you'll see that this spell is much longer than the previous one. And now, if I copy the new /give command, which is also much longer, it is possible for this command to be too long even for a command block. For particularly long programs, usually that shouldn't be an issue, but if it does become a problem, you can just import it manually, or if you want to use the, let's, what did I think I copied something wrong here. Ah, no, I see what I was doing. I was being stupid. I need to not copy. I was copying both /give commands instead of just the second one. So I was getting all this extra stuff in the middle and was doing stuff at the end. All right. So yeah, if the command block can't fit it, you can either put it in manually, or if you want to use hexagon manually, like more manually than the automatic that's going on here, you can kind of take this, split it up into multiple parts, and run it through hexagon manually via the command line. It's very similar to the command you're running here. I won't go over how to do that here, but if you do have very long spells, you can do it like that. This spell that I have loaded in fills in a hole with water, like I was saying. It will, change size to fit with the hole it's in. If I use it up here, it'll lag for a minute, just because it's a big spell. You see it will fill it in. Alright, that is all for showing off Hex++. If you're interested, the link to the GitHub repo is in the description. Thank you.